What's up, Laker fans? How we doing today? The Lakers just defeated the Houston Rockets in Game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals, and the outlook of this team is looking a lot different now than a couple days ago. Um, the Lakers kind of ditched their two bigs. Dwight Howard is no longer seeing the floor, basically. Dwight hasn't played since Game 1, and I think the results speak for itself. We're no longer beating ourselves. We're actually getting ourselves a fighting chance to win the basketball game, and Vogel deserves a lot of credit for that, for finally seeing what can and what actually might work against a team that doesn't basically put a defender out there that's over 6'9". So it's finally nice to see Vogel adjust to what actually happens in the modern NBA instead of still trying to play two bigs. And we got a little glimpse of playoff Rondo tonight and in Game 2 as well. And I have never been a believer in Rondo since he's been a Laker. He's been pretty trash, actually, if you've watched him play his tenure in LA. But the past two games, he's done everything you need to win the basketball game. We are not up 2-1 without Rajon Rondo. We're probably actually down 1-2 or 0-3 if we want to get drastic, because Rondo's played a significant hand in the two wins the Lakers have in the series. Tonight, when the Rockets focused on LeBron and Anthony Davis in the fourth quarter, Rondo took over. Rondo hit a couple threes that saved us, basically. One was from pretty deep as well. One was actually in rhythm, and the one that he should have shot. That was probably the greatest game I've seen Rondo play in some years, probably since the Blazer-Pelican series. And we don't get to the second half with LeBron James going crazy like he did in the first half. Like, that was probably the best half of playoff basketball, or a playoff half, or a LeBron half that I've seen him play in a Laker jersey. Like, he did everything that first half. Scoring threes, getting to the rim, hitting the mid-range. That was sensational. I believe he had 29 points in the first half, and that kept us in the game. We played terrible defense in the first half, and it did not look like we were going to be able to keep up that scoring pace, which we weren't. I believe we only scored 112 points, so we only scored I believe 46 points in the second half, or maybe closer to 50. I think we had 62 points, so like 50 points. So definitely we weren't able to keep up with scoring, but we locked down defensively. That second half defense is what we thought we were going to get from the very get-go. I don't want to hear about refs. It's like a lot of Houston fans like to bitch about refs every single time they lose. And it's probably one of the strangest things that fan base does, is like they have the talent to win games. Blaming it on refs every single time you lose is one of the most childish things you can do. And I do believe that fan base is childish. Every single time they lose, they go to free throw disparity, or they check which ref officiates the game. Like, they really believe every game that Scott Foster calls from now until the end of time, they're going to lose just because it's Scott Foster, even though they want, I believe, a Game 7 against the Thunder with him officiating. All they want to do is whine and complain to the refs every single time about why they lose. It's not my fault you can't stop LeBron and Anthony Davis. It's not the refs' fault that you can't stop them either, so you get the result to fouling. And if getting 19 free throws basically in a Game 3 is an advantage, then that's barely anything. That's what, 5 a quarter? That's really not much in the grand scheme of things. The free throw disparity was, I believe, single digits as well, so I don't want to hear you guys complain about that ever. Make your shots, play defense. Don't let Rondo score 21 points in a game. That's how you should probably try and win a game, instead of hoping the refs bail you out every single time. And let's see, Kuzma was awful the first half. He played amazing that second half. Kuzma seemed to be timid that first half. He just seems to sometimes it takes him a while to get confidence, to get in rhythm for a basketball game, because he expects that he's going to play X amount of minutes each time. And then he gets like spurts in the first half. So he appears to try to do too much at times, and he tries to be passive at times. Second half, he did everything that you should. He was one of the only Laker players cutting to the basket. And the commentators noticed that. LeBron noticed that. Rondo noticed that. AD noticed that, and he was able to basically make a difference with spacing, with easy points, and he was also fighting on rebounds, fighting for loose balls, and staying in front of his mans, and he stopped fouling in the second half. That was lovely to see. And yes, tonight, Osmosis. Happy late birthday, by the way. Hope you celebrated it correctly, but it was a block party tonight. I believe LeBron took it to heart with him not getting second team all defense, which I believe he should have. If I had a vote on putting LeBron on second team, doesn't deserve first, but second team definitely, especially with some of the names you see on that list. I believe Pat Bev tricks all of you guys. Don't think you should get rewarded for hacking and waving your finger the entire time just to get on a defensive team, but that's just me. He's a good defender, but I wouldn't have put him on the second team this year. I think LeBron deserved that. And just my opinion. And it seemed like he took it to heart. He was blocking everything at the rim. I believe he had 4 blocks tonight. If he wasn't complaining about not getting a whistle on the other end, he was actually getting back in transition, playing good, solid team defense, and locking up when we needed to stop. It's great to see someone scoring 29 points in a half and still wanting to compete on the defensive side of the ball as well. Like, that's huge to me. That's what leaders do. That's what winners do. That's what people that want to continue playing playoff basketball. That's what they want to do. That's what you want to see from your leader. Great win because the Rockets were hitting shots in the first half. They scored 66 points, and we came back from that. Like, we didn't let the fact that we weren't able to get over the hump in the first half stop us from continuing to fight. Like, the Lakers showed a lot tonight. They showed that they're a gritty team. They can beat you in almost any way because they have depth. It might not be flashy depth, but they have depth, that they have players that can fill specific roles. Even if Danny Green can't throw a rock in the ocean right now because he's ice cold. It's crazy to see how much I believe this team is I want to say most talented. It might not have the best depth, but every piece on this team fits. I don't see a weakness where if they want to go small, they can. If they want to play big, they can. If they want to space it, they can. If they need defense, they can put players out there. Like, this team fits, especially when you have Anthony Davis and LeBron. You will be able to find players to play next to them. Those two are the most talented duo in the NBA that the NBA has to offer. And I don't think it's close. On a soft night for Anthony Davis, this is when you call him soft. He has like 25, 15, and 6. That's superstar status. That's superstar expectations. And you guys can call him soft, whatever. He's still putting up those numbers. Like, you can't be trash and put up those numbers. It was just a great team win from top to bottom. And I do have to apologize to Rajon Rondo. I've called you trash in LA. I've basically wanted you to hold a clipboard the entire playoffs. Like, I didn't want to see you play playoff basketball. I did not want to see you come back, and made a lot of us Laker fans eat our words tonight. Like, we had to kind of take a back seat and just watch you do what you do. Like, he initiated offense. He made the correct reads. He rotated. He defended his man. He didn't foul Harden, I believe, on a 3, which is one of my biggest things. Yes, Harden's going to make shots. Yes, Russ is going to make shots. Eric Gordon's going to make shots. Don't foul three-point shooters. Do not give them 3 points. Because you saw tonight, the Rockets didn't miss a free throw. I don't know how many free throws the Rockets have missed this playoff series, but you don't want to give the Rockets free points, because you can't give them 3 points and also expect to win the game if you're going to lose a 3-point battle every single game, which we're probably going to do. We're probably never going to outshoot the Houston Rockets. But if you can play solid team defense, limit fouling the 3-point shooters, and just continue to run your game, which is attack inside, attack the size advantage, get open shots, you're going to have a chance to win each game, which the Lakers have shown, because they've never been truly out of a game. They were even in game 1 until it got away at the end. The Lakers do have what it takes to beat this Houston Rocket team in 5. And I think it goes 6. I think the Lakers do win in 6 games, but we'll see. It's fun to see Lakers basketball back, and shout out to LeBron. you now own the most playoff wins in NBA history, which is dope. Passing our man Derek Fisher, which is a great honor because Derek Fisher was many of our favorite Lakers. Like, he was one of my favorite Laker players growing up. He was never the most talented player, but he seemed to make every shot that needed to go in the fourth quarter when you needed it most. He was one of the most clutch players of Laker history that I can remember. And shout out to both Derek Fisher and LeBron. Those are two great players, great team players, players you want on your team when you want to win a playoff basketball game. And there's a reason why both those players have those stats, have those accolades, have the rings to back up whatever they've done on the basketball court. They are winning players. Also, just great to see Mike D'Antoni lose. I've been a Laker fan my entire life. The day we signed Mike D'Antoni over Phil Jackson to coach our basketball team was one of the worst, probably, things the Lakers could have done. I hated Mike D'Antoni as a coach. I always believed his system was fool's gold. I still kind of do. You can get great stats. You can get great things during the regular season, but what happens when you need a bucket late? What happens when you need to win a tight game in May against the Golden State Warriors, or even before that? He's had some blunders as a coach. Just never liked Mike D'Antoni, and he and his wife have had some harsh words about the Lakers organization since. So I don't think there's any good blood between the Lakers organization and them. It's just, I don't fuck with Mike D'Antoni. Don't think I ever will. And I'll be glad to send him home because he had some words after he left LA about our state of things and how he's been more successful. I believe it was when he won Coach of the Year. He had some choice words for the Lakers organization, but it is what it is. We have 10 more wins to go till we reach the goals that we want to reach. And in LA, you play for the expectations of winning a championship. We're not Houston, where one of your rings came when Michael Jordan was out of the league. We actually have expectations. We also don't get lucky like what I just said with Michael Jordan, but it is what it is. And we'll continue to fight another day with the beef between Lakers and Rockets and whatever. It's kind of sad, though, for Dwight not being able to get revenge against the Rockets because of how they did him as well. But it is what it is. And I'm glad he'd probably take a win regardless of the situation over the Rockets. So it is what it is. Let's see. By the way, this is Daniel Beltz from King Watch LA. I just wanted to go straight into whatever apologies I had for Rondo and what I saw from LeBron tonight. Make sure you guys follow on Twitter, King Watch LA. Make sure you guys follow Hoops and Brews Media TV as well as support our Patreon. Drop a like on all this stuff. We're pushing out dope content. We've had some interviews with NBA players, and we're basically just trying to cover as much basketball as we can during this time. There's not much else to do, so might as well follow our passion and give you guys basketball content, basketball takes, and we want to make sure like your guys' voices is heard as well. I'm probably going to put something together soon for the people that watch this podcast, for the people that follow along on Twitter, just to give you guys more of like a outlet to voice your guys' opinion as well. That'll happen soon. Just trying to think of ways. If any of you guys think of a way as well, just hit me in the DMs. I'm open to anything and everything. Might be with like a fantasy football thing or something similar like that, or just like a random group chat, or like a way where we can get some of you guys on to be the co-host of this as well during certain episodes, but we'll see. Things I love to see tonight was Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso to me is a player that can play on any team just because he hustles, he defends, he doesn't overshoot, and he plays the correct way. And watching him and Rondo tonight just kind of like feed off each other, that was amazing to see. How they were like at the top of the key with the defensive assignments and just rotating and playing the passing lanes and offense as well. Alex Caruso might not be able to create for himself or others, but he does little things like set screens, space the floor, cut, attack the rim, and makes a simple pass instead of the flashy pass. And that's what I like about Alex Caruso. Whereas Rondo, he might try to do too much at some times, but tonight he seemed to hit every correct button, whether it was attack the rim. There was one, I believe, finish he had over Westbrook or Harden in the first half that I was like, oh shit, I haven't seen that in ages. And it was just cool to see. Also, I can't believe Markieff Morris only had 2 points tonight. From a impact standpoint, I would have said that Markieff probably had 8 to 10 points, and then I looked at the box score and had 2. What he brings to the Los Angeles Lakers is just a invaluable piece to that roster fit. He can play the 5 at times when LeBron goes out there. Against this Houston Rocket teams, you can get away with going with LeBron at the 4 and Markieff at the 5 because they offer no size. And I do hope Rocco and PJ Tucker are both healthy for Game 4. I don't want a fluke playoff win, and I hope Daniel House gets back as well. I don't want a fluke playoff win. We don't pray for injuries over here. We want to play each team at its healthiest. We want the Clippers to be as healthy as they can next series as well, if we get to that series and if the Nuggets don't beat them as well. We just want to beat you at your best. And if Harden, Westbrook, and Eric Gordon is your best to offer, we want to beat that. And we have the past 2 games. I believe the Lakers have, I don't want to say they've figured out how to stop small ball, but they've done the best they can. They're still getting no contributions from Danny Green or JaVale, basically. JaVale played well in Game 2, but tonight, 0 points, I believe 0 rebounds, which is nuts. He only played 6 minutes, though, but you got to do something out there on the court. You can't just be 0-0. I believe Danny Green only had 2 points, and KCP tonight hit some timely threes, but outside of LeBron and Anthony Davis, our bench carried us tonight. Like Kuz, Caruso, Rondo, and Markieff. They seem to play as well as our starters, and it's just cool to see this team click. We saw LeBron just go crazy in that first half, and then we saw Anthony Davis get timely buckets here and there. We saw him defend better in the second half. We hope he's okay as well. He took a stinger to I believe the rib or hip section. It looked like he was able to play through. He did kind of like give like some painful grimaces and stuff like that, but we think he's going to he should be fine for Game 4, which he's told Mike Trudell and the rest of the Lakers media. I'm just happy as hell to see them up 2-1. After Game 1, it was they can make the adjustments, but will they? Like, the Lakers have the pieces to the puzzle to make this engine run. It was just, will Frank Vogel make the correct adjustment? And also, is playoff Rondo real? Like, today, like we're gonna give a segment to Rondo. Like, this was Rondo's masterpiece. This was Rondo asserting himself as more than just the Loch Ness Monster. Like, he's actually still playoff Rondo. Like, tonight was, hey, like, don't forget that I still have this in my bag. And like I said, we all Laker fans, we've seen him play in LA for 2 years. We've seen what he has brought to a basketball team. It's been nothing. And you talk with previous fans of Rondo, and they'll say, hey, in the regular season, he's awful. But you have to get to the postseason to see his true value. But we're like, with how this team fits, where is that true value? And I believe Vogel's made some adjustments on the defensive side to make Rondo more playable, in my opinion. It's either going zone and going small. Putting Rondo out there with the big against the Houston Rockets, I believe wouldn't have worked, because you can't hide 2 of those players. You can hide Rondo if everyone's rotating like hell and closing out, or being able to switch in this style of offense. And that's what they're able to do on defense. So again, hey, we were wrong about Rondo for the past 2 games. And if this continues, we'll happily say how much he's helped our Los Angeles Laker team win number 17. But we need to see this more than a 2-game stretch. And again, we're probably down 0-3, maybe 1-2 without Rondo. But again, we need to see this until we're done in Orlando, until the mission is accomplished, until number 17 is for number 24. That's what we want to see. And if Rondo can help us get that, I'll actually buy a Rondo jersey if the Lakers do win number 17 and he helps us get to there. And again, LeBron and Rondo sometimes seem to have, in the regular season, they were kind of off as well with their rotations, their communications, and they both want to do the same things at some of the same times. And that's why it kind of looks redundant when both of them are out there on the basketball court. But we've gone smaller. We've spaced the floor. Like you saw in LeBron go in game 1, he's like, more spacing. Like, we need more spacing when we're out there. And Rondo's found the ways to navigate that. Caruso and Kuz both cut to create spacing as well. Because sometimes you'll see LeBron or AD get the ball on one side of the court and no one moves. That's not winning basketball. You need to be able to cut. You need the motion to continue to move, or the offense could look stagnant. Tonight, our offense did not look stagnant. And then if it did, Rondo would somehow splash a 3, which I did not think he was going to do. I can't believe he had 21 points and 9 assists. Looking at this box score, I was surprised because I was like, there's no way he had that many points, but it came all when we needed it the most. And thank you, Rondo. We do not win tonight's game without you. Do I think that level of play is sustainable? Probably not. But then again, I don't think Green and Caruso, or Green and KCP only scoring a combined total of 8 points is sustainable as well. I think they get above 15 probably the next game or so. So do I think what Rondo's doing is sustainable? No. Do I think he's going to be a good player after the past 2 games? Hopefully so. So, because I know people want to go law of averages, like averaging out, and that Rondo's not going to do this every game, but he's done it for the past 2 games. So is LeBron, so is AD. So maybe we've found something. Even Kuzma played very well in that second half. Like, we don't win today without Kuzma as well. Kuzma kind of seems to find himself as the game goes on. You just have to, like, stick with him, like, continue to give him the minutes instead of pulling him, which, like, Vogel after game 1, he was looking fraudulent as well. Past 2 games, he's called a perfect game. He doesn't ever have LeBron and Anthony Davis sitting on the sidelines together. One of them is always in the game. LeBron has also upped his playing time, I believe, in the past 2 games. He realizes this isn't the Portland Trailblazers. We actually have to play basketball to win and play up to our standards, play up to our ability. And I'm just glad that we can rely on LeBron in year 17, at the age of 35, to still be the best player in the world, because that's what I believe LeBron has shown in this playoff run. He's doing the correct things. He's leading by example. He just needs to stop complaining to the refs and just get back on defense, because at some point, that's going to bite us in the ass. But if you continue to score 29 points in a half, who cares? Let's see. Let's talk about Danny Green and how he's playing horrible. God, we have to pay him next year, don't we? I don't know how you get away from Danny Green, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's an injury. I don't know if it's a mental health thing. I don't know if it's just he's declining in both on the court stuff and like agility as well. He is one of our slowest defenders, and it looks pretty nasty when he's guarding James Harden or Russell Westbrook, because they're just getting open drives to the lane. I don't know what's going on with Danny Green. I don't know if there's a simple fix as well. They say the last thing of your game to go is your shot, and his shots look trash in LA. I will say his saving grace was he was able to get offensive rebounds in the second half to kind of like continue possessions, but it's brick city out there for Danny Green, and that's not what I like to see, especially for how much we're paying him. You got to be able to knock shots. If you're a known 3-point specialist, you can't be terrible in the playoffs. Like, you can't. And he's not even a 3-and-D player anymore, in my opinion. He's just a 3-point shooter, and he's not even doing that. Unfortunately, LA has a trend to get 3-point shooters not being able to make shots from the 3-point land in LA. Like, we've seen that with Muscala. We saw that with Sasha Vujacic. We love Sasha Vujacic, but there were a lot of games where he was just cold from 3. We also saw that with, I believe Matt Barnes wasn't that great from 3 in LA as well. So we've seen a lot of people that have a known shooter, basically badge, if you want to call it, come to LA and just be kind of brick from 3. And it's a little discouraging to see that, because it's another body that we lose, basically. Dion's hurt. Avery Bradley's not here. We can't play JaVale and Dwight in the series. So it's like we're losing bodies if he continues to shoot like this, because there's no one on the bench. And I don't know if I want to see J.R. Smith play again. He was pretty awful in that first half spurt that he got. He didn't knock down a shot, was awful in rotations, fouled a three-point shooter, which, like I said earlier, don't foul them on threes. If you're going to foul them going to the lane, cool. Just make sure they miss it. But you can't foul the three-point shooter, especially if you just get in, and especially if you're trying to find minutes in the playoff rotation. You got to be more disciplined than that. And I know that's asking a lot for J.R. Smith, but you got to stay focused, stay disciplined, and stay in the moment. Do not foul a three-point shooter. And I do think JaVale or Dwight will have a purpose next series because they will have Montrez and Zubac. So I get maybe giving them a little minutes per game, but not a lot. And 6 is my max for a lot. You kind of want to keep them fresh, but in this series, as it's shown the past 2 games, they don't really serve a purpose out there against this Houston Rocket team, especially since when both were playing, we weren't winning the rebound advantage. And if we have 2 7-footers out there the entire game and we're not winning the rebound advantage, you aren't playing winning basketball. You aren't making the correct adjustments to win a basketball game, especially if they're over rotating or if they're fouling way more often than they should, like a Dwight Howard does. Yeah, like it's just cool to see 2 superstars do what 2 superstars do. Braun held us down in the first half. AD held us down in the second half as well, and Rondo took over. Like, it's cool to see just people being able to live up to the name. And that's what LeBron and AD do. Like, they live up to why we traded everyone for AD. They live up to the commotion that we signed LeBron James for. Like, it's just nice to have 2 superstars back in LA. This is what we know. This is our history. And it's just great to see it repeat itself. And it looks like we are going to be continuing to play more playoff basketball, which is awesome. Just quick notes on Anthony Davis. This is the most games he's won in a playoff run. I know it's only 6, but that's how low the bar was in New Orleans. So shout out to him. You finally got at least 2 wins in the second round, something you never accomplished in that shitty organization down in Louisiana. Like, congrats. And it's not going to be your last win either. And it's definitely not going to be your only playoff run in LA. So cheers to getting out of that situation. And now you're with a superstar instead of a fraudulent star that they want to put on that level. Like David Griffin was calling for Drew Holiday to be MVP. You're actually playing with a real MVP. So congrats to AD for finally getting at least 2 wins in the second round, and there's 10 more to go in this playoff run. So get healthy and continue to be the beast that you are. Just quick little jokes about the Milwaukee Bucks. I believe when they beat us in December, they went and said, consider this a warning. Basically going back to the Lakers' original tweet in the preseason when we kicked the shit out of the Warriors, and we went and posted, consider this a warning, NBA. You guys got sent home today, and you guys got sent home in 5 games, which is pretty hilarious for a team that's going to feature an MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, and 3 all-defensive three all-defensive selections just this year. This is not speaking about years past. This is the accolades people on your team have gotten this year. You guys got sent home in 5. You guys lost the 3 games Giannis was playing in. So you can't really use the injury excuse when Giannis was 0 for 3 out there in games played. The only game you guys won was when he got hurt in the first half. And you guys were, I believe, down when he got hurt. So you can't even say, well, we were up when he got hurt. No. Miami kicked Giannis's ass. Middleton was able to look better in the games without Giannis than with him. So I don't know. You guys talked a lot of crap to LA about Anthony Davis versus Giannis, LeBron versus Giannis, but it takes a lot to wear the crown, and I guess that's why we call him King James and we don't call Giannis King Giannis. So yeah. I don't buy Milwaukee crying about home field advantage. There's no home field advantage. And it's not like Milwaukee brings this crazy electric fan experience and home advantage. I don't see that in Milwaukee. You're not Oklahoma City Thunder back when Katie, Russ, and Harden played for them. That's home court advantage. Whatever Milwaukee has isn't. But again, have fun in Cancun, and best of luck when Giannis leaves. Let's see. We're just going to go into some random Lakers talk. I do think the Lakers win Game 4. I don't see anything that the Rockets can adjust to kind of take the advantage away from LA. I believe LA has learned to play with them. They've learned what they do well and how to limit the mistakes. Like tonight, we could have actually been in control of this game from the jump if we weren't terrible on fast breaks. I believe the 3 fast breaks that we fumbled were led by KCP and Danny Green. Those 2 people should not be leading any fast breaks in 2020. And it went from, I believe, 6 points on offense to points we gave up on the defensive side of the ball. So it's just little things like that the Lakers need to clean up on. We got to continue to make our free throws. We were trashed tonight from the free throw line. I believe we missed like 7 or 8. If you get free throws, you got to capitalize, especially if you're Anthony Davis. You're getting free shots. Make them. You're a great free throw shooter. Make your free throws. Because, again, with the 3-point disparity that we're going to have between us and them, we have to get the free points when it counts. So continue to attack, continue to rotate on defense. When the Lakers lock in defensively like they did in the second half, we're a scary team. We're one of the best teams in the league when we lock in defensively like that. And it takes a whole team. It takes teams and it takes the players to not get in foul trouble. Like Anthony Davis was in foul trouble the first half. He wasn't able to be aggressive on defense in the first half. Second half, wasn't in foul trouble. You saw the effort. You saw the tenacity. You saw the rotations. It looked crisp. Also, we took JaVale out. Like, we made the correct adjustments we needed, which is why we're giving Vogel credit as well. We need to limit our turnovers. It's not even turnovers that the Rockets are forcing. They're just unforced errors that we're committing. We don't want to give this team extra possessions because, again, the 3-point shot clearly is more than 2. But we just – and they'll make some. Like, in games 2, they shot 53s and made 22. Like, they can shoot from 3. So limit the 3s they get. Control the ball. Don't have lazy turnovers. Get into your offensive sets more often or quicker sometimes. There were times tonight in the fourth quarter where Rondo and LeBron just kind of like held the ball for a little bit. For our sake, they came through with those, but sometimes they're not going to go like that. So you'll need to get into your offensive set where you can't just rely on great players taking over. Where you get a Kuzma wide open 3, where you get a Caruso wide open cut. Whereas it's just LeBron hold the ball 10 seconds and expect magic to happen. Even though it's LeBron James and it will happen, we kind of just want easy baskets when it's a close game in the fourth quarter and we got to come through with a W. It was just great to see Lakers actually up in a series 2-1. This series is kind of playing out like last series where we lost game 1, made adjustments, and we looked like the better team after that. But last series, we were blowing them out. This series, we're not. It's close games until the fourth quarter, and then we take the lead, get a sizable gap, and kind of hold on. So we shall see. I'll probably have a Game 4 pregame video just for all of you guys to see, and hopefully we get good news about every Rocket player that's dealing with injuries right now. We don't want any of them out. Hope Rocco's good. Hope PJ Tucker and Daniel House are good, and I hope they're ready to go for Game 4. This is a heavyweight bout. Like, they have a superstar duo as well with Harden and Westbrook. And the only thing I'll question about Westbrook is congrats on scoring on Anthony Davis in the fourth quarter. You were down by 12 points when you did. Congrats for talking shit to Anthony Davis when you were down 10 with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Like, hey, good job. Like, don't know what you were doing, but congrats on being able to score in a game where the Lakers at that point were giving up 2s over 3s. So congrats. Like, congrats for putting the ball in the hole, man. That was just, to me, dumb. Why talk that much trash when you're going to lose that game in the fourth quarter? Especially after game 1, when you won, you were mouthing off to the crowd. I just don't get it for that. Like, I get playing with emotion. I get everything that he does. I love what Westbrook brings to a team. It's just, dude, you're down 10. Why are you talking? Like, I don't get it. I wouldn't want Dwight. I wouldn't want AD. I wouldn't want LeBron or any of our star players to talk like that if we're down 10 in the fourth quarter. I don't even care about LeBron or AD stats and losses. I don't care what they do when we lose. When we win, we care about their stats and whatever. But when we lose, you can drop 60. I don't care. I don't want to see you post about it either. That's what we are about. We're about wins. We don't care how it happens. Don't talk like that after not being able to close in the fourth quarter. That's just my opinion. Nothing personal with Westbrook. It's just, you're an MVP. Just be better. That's it. Again, this has been Daniel Beltz from King Watch. Make sure you guys drop a like on YouTube. Make sure you guys follow along on King Watch LA as well. I don't want to lose to the Rockets. Diehard Laker fan, I just don't want to lose to them. I do not want to lose to a D'Antoni-led team, and I don't want to lose to a Harden-led team. Mainly because of all the people in the summertime talking about how Harden is better than Kobe, and I just don't want to give them ammunition to where they can even use it. So until the next time we speak, I'll be on King Watch LA's Twitter. You guys can find me on there. I'll be definitely posting a lot about the Lakers game from Game 3 and all the way up to Game 4. So make sure you guys follow me on there. Hit me up on there. And until the next time we speak, go Lakers.